today. As Ben mentioned, I'm Sunny Noonan, founder of the Admin Awards and proud daughter of I'm so sorry, proud daughter of the late Jeanette Castellano. I am so sorry, guys. I did not think this was going to happen.
Sonny,
Just
you do not need to be sorry.
I'm so sorry. Just bear with me for 1 second, okay? Whew. All right, we're going to do this. I am really thankful that you're here today, and we're going to talk about the Admin Awards, and we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun. And in the process, we are going to continue some really important legacies. So I thank you for being on this call, and I thank you for bearing with me. Grief is a really tricky thing. And I know many of you know that, and I know that many of you wrote into me, and I just want to thank you for that. You think you're ready and you think you're fine, and you can plan and prepare and all the stuff. And I just commit to you to just take all this as honestly as I can as it comes. So just thank you so much for your patience. We would not exist if it were not for the support of our sponsors, Southwest Airlines, the Beacon Institute for Administrative Excellence, and N+1 Search. I want to make sure you guys know that we have a job board. N+1 Search is our recruiting arm, and we have full service concierge level executive assistant search. We also have a talent accelerator program, which is in between full service search, and also our job board, which is a really easy and affordable way for you to post job openings in your company. In the administrative function, we only do administrative job postings and searches. And also, if you find yourself to be in transition, looking for a new opportunity, please make sure you upload your resume to N+1 Search for us. All right, you guys are gonna find out about something that nobody else knows about. And that is Imagine Admin is back. We are super excited to be celebrating Administrative Professionals Month with all of you this April. We've got 3 virtual events scheduled, generously supported by Top Golf. They are the presenting sponsor. We are going to be announcing this tomorrow, and we want speakers. Only administrative professionals are among the 30 admin speaker slot. So I want to share a short video with you to give you a sense of what we're looking for so that you can get a head start on thinking about what you might want to speak about. All right, here we go. right, Ben, if you will put in the chat, if you haven't already, the link to the Imagine Admin site. Um, 3 virtual events, super excited. It's completely free. How awesome is that? If you want to amp up your Admin Month celebration, there are sponsorships available, which include awesome treats, Admins Run the World swag, a cool gift for your executives. Yeah, I know we normally like to skip and slight executives at the admin awards, but during Imagine Admin and Admin Month, we've got a fun surprise for them. And also other cool benefits if you guys want to incorporate this into your Admin Month celebrations, which I hope you're all planning right now. All right, little bit about the Admin Awards. So now that I got my crying spell over with, guys, I am so honored to continue my mother's legacy through the work that we do at the Admin Awards. This is really personal. It's been for 15 years. Believe it or not, we're coming up on our 15 year of celebrating administrative excellence. And I'm really proud that the example my mom set is what inspired the world's first public recognition program. And what I will tell you is, my mom was an executive secretary during the heyday of her career. Where I know she made her biggest impact is from that seat right there, which was where she worked as a corporate receptionist for a company in Irving, Texas. And I've told this story many, many, many times. My mom was the first to greet nervous applicants, the last person to say goodbye to coworkers, all the moments in between. She was the soul of that company. People would get in trouble for hanging out in reception too long. I couldn't go anywhere without running into somebody that had met my mother through the work that they were doing at a well-known technology company, Epsilon in Irving. There's also an office in Burlington, Mass. For those of you that are with us from Boston. What I will say is, when somebody passes, one of the big blessings is people tell you stories that you never heard of. And just the other day, I opened up another sympathy card from a friend and former colleague at Epsilon. I also worked there for about 5 years early in my career. And she just wrote to me about this time that she was really, really nervous to go in to pitch to a client. And as she was rushing through the lobby, my mom looked at her and she said, "Lori, you got this, kid. Chin up, shoulders back." And Lori said that little moment, that micro moment, of which there were millions during the 15 years that she was at Epsilon, and no doubt for all the years she worked as an administrative professional, got her secretarial certificate in 1955, and worked until she was a couple months shy of her 80th birthday. All those moments, I know my mom knew the impact that she had because she worked at an organization full of wonderful people that told her all the time how valued she was, how cherished, how beloved. That's why I created the Admin Awards, you guys, not because I didn't think you were appreciated enough. I know what's in the hearts and minds of your leaders and coworkers, most of them. I created it because I wanted a way for you to be able to express that love and appreciation. WAG Goodnight, if you watch the celebration of life, WAG started by saying, "I bet y'all didn't know Jeanette had a black son." My mom had a whole bunch of kids that she worked with that called her mom, and he said that she was his mother. And he said that she was a big reason why he didn't miss a day of work in 20 years, right? That's the impact that my mom had. But guys, my mom's story is your story. You are making an impact that I hope you're making long before it's too late. And that's really what this is all about. It's making sure that people have an opportunity to share the incredible impact that you're having in a way that you can feel it, right, with your heart and mind. And so we've got important work to do. I promised my mom that this program would go on forever. If you saw one of the videos I posted about a tender moment we had a couple years ago after the Dallas Admin Awards, the last event she had been to, this was important to my mom, and she saw the impact that it had. And we will continue to carry her legacy and Colleen Barrett's legacy. Hopefully, you've all heard of the story of Colleen Barrett, the legendary executive assistant that went on to become president and COO of Southwest Airlines. You guys, long before it was a thing to consider your admin your strategic partner, Colleen was in that role during the 70s and 80s when nobody was, pulling their executive assistants into meetings, into board meetings, having them represent founders, right? And that was Herb Kelleher. He saw what he had in Colleen and leveraged her incredible skills, her leadership. They say if Herb was the brains behind the operation, Colleen was the heart. I will tell you, having gotten to know Colleen and Herb, Colleen passed away a couple years ago. Also, I have to think they're up there elbowing each other, really proud of all of us right now, you guys. That's what I'm feeling like is happening right now, which is a beautiful thought. But, those guys were brains and heart in equal measure. And we are so thankful that Herb and Colleen would pave the way for a program like the Admin Awards. And this was just a seedling of an idea when I went to Colleen and said, hey, you don't know me, but I'm the really proud daughter of an executive secretary. And I want to create a program that publicly recognizes people like you, people like my mom. And she was president emeritus at the time at Southwest Airlines. And when I emailed her, it took me months to create what I hope was a perfect email. She emailed me back within, I think, an hour, to be honest, and said, count me in. I'd be honored to be a part of this. And she also loved that we were recognizing receptionists, she said, because they also fall through the cracks and they're also very important. If we have any receptionists on the call, please put a heart in the chat. Or if you love the receptionist at your company, because guys, all of these roles in the administrative function, they're important. Whether you are working at a high strategic level like Colleen, whether you were working at the level that my mother worked at, these contributions are all significant and extremely important in their own unique ways. All right, so here's what I will say about this profession. We are really, really late publicly recognizing administrative professionals. And I often think about if a public recognition program for admins was started decades ago, like other award programs, right? There are thousands upon thousands of award programs that recognize virtually every other profession. It wasn't until 2012 that the Admin Awards was created, after I had already been told no, but by a company I worked at that had other award programs. I didn't think public recognition program for admins would be appreciated or supported financially, which I thought was just nuts. So I created it myself, thank goodness. Funny story, a couple years after that, the founder of that company, who was fly fishing when I had the idea for this, and somebody under him told me no, he said, hey, Sonny, that admin thing you're doing, the Admin Awards, I want to buy that from you. We were at a diner and I yelled at him, Wick Allison, publisher of D Magazine, big, one of the most successful magazines in the country. I said, Wick, you could have had that idea for free, but you were fly fishing when I pitched it. So as they say, thank God for unanswered prayers, because I get to run the Admin Awards the way I think it needs to be run, which people that are focused on profits over people probably wouldn't agree with. But guys, this mission is important. If it was created decades ago, I wonder what the environment would be like right now. I was just in Australia. My husband's an Aussie, and I caught a message on LinkedIn that KPMG in Australia has laid off hundreds of administrative professionals. Guys, you know what the problem is? You don't do a good enough job of making sure your executives know everything that you are doing in a day's time. I used to say that was sort of part of the magic of the profession. That is hurting us. It is hurting us because you make it look too easy. I don't think it's anything nefarious that they don't know. I think they're just busy, right? You know them. They're focused on what's in front of them. They're focused on their careers. They're focused on, all of the politics, the changing of of everything, right? Of priorities. Things are happening at, crazy warp speed today. I just think they're busy. They're not focusing on you. We have got to get them to stop and take stock of everything that you do to make your leaders successful, to make your peers, your department successful, and to make your company successful. We do know, guys, that there's a lot of change in this profession. There's a lot of change in a lot of professions as a result of AI. But I think the problems that this creates specific to the administrative profession, I believe that it is public recognition that is going to have the biggest impact on people sitting around conference room tables thinking that they can riff admins and then not be a major distraction, right? It's kind of too late after they've let you go. Yeah, they're going to regret it. Well, what's happened to your career by then? How many months were you out of work? Did you have to take a step back and pay? Because now there's this misperception out there that admins are just lucky to have jobs. That is not true. We are still placing admins in the mid six figures. It is still a really, really important role to many, many companies and many, many leaders, but there is still a lot of misconception and a lot of outdated stereotypes that exist. So, this mission is important, and I'm glad that you're on the call today because I know I'm sort of preaching to the choir. A little bit about the Admin Awards and our history by the numbers. We've been doing this for 15 years. We've had over 20,000 nominations submitted, 4,000 plus, that's probably closer to 5,000 nominating companies. We'd worked with over 100 Fortune 500 companies. We've had 10 host cities. We are trusted by the best. You like that, Takeda? I see you. There you go, guys. We've got amazing companies that participate in the Admin Awards that have a lot of choices when it comes to where they spend their time, their resources, their energy. This is the sliver of the iceberg. Thousands upon thousands of companies, highly recognizable brands. But you want to know what gets me really excited, you guys? When we have teeny tiny baby companies that rely on one admin that serves as the executive assistant to multiple people, the office manager, all the things, guys, they're just as important and just as valued. And if you go to our website, you will see that the Admin Awards has produced winners at companies large and small. And that's really important. The judges really don't care about how big the company is. They don't care about how profile the executive is. We've got a lot of administrative judges, a lot of executive judges, HR leaders. They really only care about the work product of the admin. We are really proud, guys, coming from a business media background. We used to put on events. We would invite executives. Some of those executives would be up for awards and honored, and they wouldn't go. They wouldn't go to the awards program that was created for them. Guess what? Executives at the highest level show up at the Admin Awards. And this is, again, just a sliver of the list of very high profile executives that don't just nominate, they're in the room celebrating, they're championing the Admin Awards on social media. Most recently, the CEO of Pizza Hut, when his EA Brandy won the Colleen Barrett Award in Dallas, he got on social media and said the nicest things about us. And we're really, really proud of this, guys, because your execs, they're tough nuts to crack. They're skeptical. They're busy. They don't have time for a lot, guys. Not only do they come to the Admin Awards, but they freaking love it. CEO of Lamb went the first year. They asked him to go. The second year, he asked his admins if he could go to the Admin Awards. Today, Lamb Research is the presenting sponsor of the Admin Awards 2 years in a row. So I tell you this because I know it's important to you to recommend solutions, programs, opportunities that are going to be meaningful, that are going to have an impact, okay, are going to be high quality. All right, let's talk about dates and locations. 2026. So this year, we are going back to the same 6 markets that we've been in the last few years. 2027 is going to be different. One of those cities is going to be rotated out for our new market. You're the first to hear about this. We are in the process of launching the LA market. We have sort of discovered that 6 markets as a small company is about the most we can do until we start to add headcount. We need to add headcount. Frankly, COVID set us back years we are still dinging out from the pandemic. When we're able to get back to more than 6 markets, we'll have annual markets again in 10 cities across the US, but we're still rebuilding. What I will tell you about this list is how well supported these programs are determines if we come back annually. It's two things. It's nominations, nominating companies, and it's financial support, which happens through sponsorships. Tickets do not, they cover our operating costs. There is no profit on tickets. Zero zilch profit on tickets. In fact, we're a little bit underwater in some markets because they're super expensive to produce these events. And we understand what the market can bear. And we've got to keep these tickets at a fairly reasonable rate, even though we know some galas go for $1,000 a plate. That's not us. So those are the list of regions for this year. I would love to be back in all of those. Again, we're going to rotate out one and we're going to have an LA market. So please tell all your LA buddies, if you've got anybody out there, that the Admin Awards is coming to them. We're going to start with launch events over the next couple months. All right. How does it work? Really simple. Save the date in your area. You got to be present to advance in the competition. You can participate in any region. Nominations are submitted in in award categories. 9 are individual in Dallas. 9 are individual in Dallas, 8 individual award categories in the other markets. There's 1 team award. Judges evaluate the candidates. I don't judge, sponsors do not judge, or advisory board members do not judge. It is an independent panel of judges. You can read all about how judging works on our website. There's no voting. They're all score-based outcomes. You then purchase tickets and tables for best seating. We've got early bird rates right now. Hop onto the website and grab them. Then you get your Good as Gold and Team Spirit ready. We have wonderful contests, long-standing traditions for best Good as Gold outfits, which I'll talk about in a minute, best Team Spirit, and then all the finalists and winners are revealed at the Good as Gold Gala. All right, how do nominations work? Ben, I'm going to throw this over to you to talk about the nominations piece, and then I'll take it back from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Sunny. So I'll go into the nomination system in a little bit of detail so you understand how it works, and also talking a bit about some of the new changes for this year for those that are returning. So pretty simple. On our adminawards.com website, there's a big yellow nominate now button. You click on that, it shows you the regions where nominations are open. Right now, nominations are open for the Houston and Chicago programs. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll be having the Washington, D.C. and the Silicon Valley, San Francisco nominations open as well. So they're just about to go live. As Sunny said, you pick an award category when you nominate, and when a nomination is submitted, emails go out within about a half an hour to let the nominee know that they've been nominated. If you're the one that nominates, you get an email thanking you for nominating. And if you're not that person's direct supervisor, the direct supervisor will get an email saying, hey, by the way, your admin, Elizabeth, has been nominated for an admin in the Admin Awards. And they get told all about the next steps as well. So that all happens very quickly after you submit the nomination. As a nominee, the important steps are that you accept your nomination. That lets us know that you've seen the email, you're aware of the program, and you're going to be at the gala. So accepting your nomination is super critical to help us manage the program and communicate with you about your nomination, next steps, what we need from you to enable us to put the event on. A little bit of detail, but I'll mention it here. There's that sub point there, submit your nominee statement. That's a really important part of the acceptance that we do highlight. You know, your bosses, co-workers, other executives, they can say everything they want about the work that you've done, but let's be honest, your boss has probably forgotten most of what you've done in the last 12 months. So that's your chance to tell the judges why you deserve to win an admin award. It's not, as Honey said, it's not your time to be shy and humble. It's your time to say, I'm awesome, and this is why I think I should win. So that's a really important part to keep in mind, hopefully, as you all get nominated and go and accept your nomination. So keep that in mind. The other part that is new from last year, but we're really making sure that everyone is aware of it for this year, if you've been involved in the program for a few years, you'll know that a couple of years ago, if to receive multiple nominations, everybody had to go and log into a portal, create an account, do a nomination, pick an award category, and you know, how many people on this call want another login? Not many, probably, especially executives that are doing the nominations. So last year we did roll out a new system where no login is required to do that initial nomination where someone picks an award category and says, well, you should win that. That's still in place, but the really powerful part is that once that first nomination is submitted, you get a link that you can share to your fan club where you can say, hey, I've been nominated for an admin award. I would love your support. Go to this link, enter my email address, and write why you think I should win. And everything gets combined into a single nomination for the judges to review. And we've had a combination of people winning an admin award by having a extremely robust single nomination from their boss. We've had other people that have had a similar, really strong story told about their performance through a shorter initial nomination and anywhere from 10 to 80 supporting nominations from co-workers, other executives, previous bosses. So that nominations supporting the fan club link is kind of how we abbreviate that, is a really powerful part of the program. Important to keep that in mind as you're looking at nominating, taking this back to your companies, getting your exec to nominate you. If you have to put it on his schedule, we have had people in the past that have left one of these calls and put on their boss's calendar, nominate me for an admin award. And it's on their schedule, they go do it. We want you to have time after that first nomination goes in to get all those supporting nominations before the deadline. So the earlier the better, so you can circulate that fan club link. What is completely new for this year is that now, after you've been nominated, it's not compulsory. You can go and log into our nominations portal and you can see every nomination that you've received, every supporting nomination that you've received. You can see the content and check who's been supporting, who's submitted supporting nominations for you, or the real nominations. Sometimes you think somebody's nominated or they haven't, or they said they have. You can't see it. You can reach out to us. We can make sure everything's in there. So it's a great way to check what's going on. If you're somebody in that system, you can also go and revise your nominee statement and go, hang on, that's not strong enough. I'm going to say more awesome things about myself. You can log in and you can make changes there as well. If you happen to be somebody that has submitted a nomination for somebody, you can go in there as well and review your nomination and make changes. So it's easy now to update or review what you wrote compared to last year. So that's a big change for this year. It's live in Houston and Chicago. If there's anyone on the call that has been nominated in those markets, you should have access to that system by now if you wanted to. So that's the new part for this year. We're super excited that that's being rolled out. The other really important part of the nominee's journey is 1 month before the gala, unless it's a weekend, 1 month before the gala at 9 a.m. local, we do a nominee preparation/information call. It's just for admins that have been nominated in that city, and we run through all the details of the program, what we need from you, headshots, this is what's going to happen on the night, and make sure that we answer any questions you have about the journey and the process. So if you've been nominated and you're on this call to learn a bit more, you'll start receiving a calendar invite for that call in those two markets that are live. But that's an important part of the nominations process as well. So that's kind of a bit more detail about, as a nominee, what that journey looks like in the lead up to the awards gala.
All right. And we're going to have time for Q&A at the end of this call. No questions are off limits. We want you to ask whatever you're curious about, what's on your mind. Okay, so 4 ways to participate. Nominate an individual. You can nominate yourself, and that's an amazing way. In fact, you want to know what's a really cool story? The very first nomination that was submitted this year was a self-nomination. And I just thought, you know what? That is the best freaking start to 2026, that somebody is right out of the gate advocating for themselves, because that's what creates, allows you to circulate that link. And then you get all your supporting nominations. So absolutely, you've got agency and you have the ability to really initiate the process. You also can nominate an admin team. That team needs to work together towards a common goal objective. But the team award is a super fun one. And then, guys, in the past, we would have the Founders Awards. We would do a call for nominations for the Founders Award. And we've decided to not include an open call for nominations. And I don't want to get too much into the weeds on this, but what I'd like to say about this is um, this is not an opportunity for companies to trick the public into believing that they're a great place to work to try to attract administrative professionals that they can then wear out and underpay and disrespect. And it's been amazing to me how companies will get PR firms to submit Founders Award nominations that have never participated in the admin awards and that I have insider info on, right? That are not creating an exceptional work environment for admins. So during my many conversations with you guys, I will hear things that you will not know I'm listening to as I think about what companies might be good candidates. And if we do determine that a company would be a good fit, we would work with them in advance to bring their story to life and to share that story publicly on stage. It wouldn't be a surprise like it has been in the past. So we might have Founders Award recipients in some markets. We may not in other markets. So that's one of the new things this year. These are the award categories. The award categories are all the same as they've always been. You can read more about them on our website. And then the Jeanette Castellano Lifetime Achievement Award, Joan Burge, Joanne Linden, Beverly Robinson, June Weidman, Susan Walsh. Have I forgotten anybody? Susan Walsh, Converse, Beverly Robinson, Potter's House, Joan Burge,
Joanne
Office
Linden.
Dynamics, Joanne Linden, um, and Gene Weidman. Yeah, I think that's everybody. So also the Lifetime Achievement Award is another one where I've always just felt like the right candidates would be brought to me by the universe. And that has certainly been the case. So that will continue to be the way that we identify candidates. And that's really for admins that have 30 or people that have significantly impacted the administrative profession for 30 or more years. I mean, these are people that have been stewards of this profession. They may be retiring soon. They may have recently retired. So if you know of anybody, please send me an email. I'm happy to consider them. But the criteria is really unique. It's about the ability to make an impact on the lives of others through the seat of an administrative professional. It is not the Colleen Barrett Award. It is not the Strategic Partnership Award. It's not the Leadership Award. It could be those things, but it really is a legacy award. And so it's important that if there are administrative professionals that started in this role, in the 50s, 60s, that are still doing important work, that's making a massive impact on their coworkers, organizations, leaders, whether they are in a highly tactical role or whether they have served in a highly strategic role. That's what we're looking for. All right, a little bit about the experience. So I think what makes the Admin Awards so special is what happens at the Good as Gold Gala. Here's a quick evening at a glance. Guests arrive at 6 o'clock. There's a cocktail reception, ballroom doors open. We open it up with the nominees' video tribute, which we like to say it's a surprise to the nominees. Nothing happens without admins knowing about it. This year, the song is Taking Care of Business by Bachman Turner Overdrive. This is a throwback to the first year of the Admin Awards back in 2012, 15 years ago. That was a tribute song at the very first Admin Awards in Dallas, which was a luncheon back then, 310 people. And we're going back. And that's the song that we're going to be that's going to be opening up the Admin Awards, and your executives and coworkers lip sync and dance. And then we compile all the submissions, and we have a fun time kicking off the event with that video tribute. Then there's a dinner break. Then we do years of service acknowledgements, award presentations, prize breaks, and some of our fun legacy traditions. just a few snaps, arrival, cocktail reception, pictures are taken. It's the red carpet opportunity, photo ops, super, super fun. The minute you walk into the land of the admin awards, you realize that this is something different. In fact, we hear that a lot from executives. Admins have a separate check-in area from executives. We've got our iconic Andy Warhol Hall of Fame with all of the nominees' headshots. Every nominee gets a custom lanyard. That's where you also pick up your admin gift. We're in the final stages of determining what those admin gifts are. We're super excited about them. Again, admin gifts are free to every attending admin. We do not charge extra. And that's a really fun, important tradition of the admin awards. Here are some snaps from the Good as Gold Gala. People have such a blast decorating their tables. Years of service acknowledgements. We have every admin stand. Those with the most years of service stay standing. We then started a rookie acknowledgement element that we're probably going to continue to do this year, which is for admins that are new to the profession. And those are the first prizes of the evening. The prizes are all valued at over $500. Our grand prize record breaker was a $40,000 Aurora Expeditions cruise for two that happened in 2024 and in a couple markets in markets in 2025. But all those prizes are $500 or more. If you guys have connections to vacation destinations, cruise lines, again, we would love to continue the tradition of really high value prizes. And that is one of the funnest parts of the evening because every admin that attends the gala is automatically registered to win those prizes. Award presentations happen throughout the evening. Executives get on stage to congratulate their admins. It's a really important moment. And it's very emotional and it's just so exciting. I wish everybody could win, you guys. I got to tell you, you just want everybody to win. But what I will say about this is the most important thing, and I shouldn't say this as the founder of the Admin Awards, but I'm just going to be honest with you. The most important thing that evening is not who wins. It is that you have been recognized by your leaders, your coworkers, that they are taking the time to acknowledge you and to celebrate you for that work. And we don't want to lose sight of that, right? Because we know that being nominated is what has the biggest impact. We know this because you've told us this. The survey results among winners, nominees, finalists are identical. Yes, we want to win. I'm very competitive. I don't like to not win, but if you don't win, it does not mean that you've lost. You've lost nothing. What you know is that you were brave enough to compete, right? The man in the arena, one of my favorite quotes. That's what matters, right? That you were in the arena, that you were courageous enough to be a part of this. You're proud of the work you do. And most importantly, you're giving your leaders and coworkers an opportunity to show you appreciation because that is important to them. One of the things that drives me nuts is when an admin gets nominated and they email our team and say, I'm going to decline my nomination. Most do it politely, but some will be like, yeah, I don't need this. This is a popularity contest. This isn't really important. That's what drives me nuts. Because here's what I'll tell you. When anybody questions the integrity of this program, first of all, you're calling into question the integrity of my mother, the integrity of Colleen Barrett, the integrity of every judge that's ever taken the hours upon hours to evaluate the candidates. And what's most disheartening to me is you're attempting to delegitimize the very significant achievements of our winners. So I have to address that because, every once in a while you hear somebody say, oh, if you sponsor the admin awards, you win an admin award. That is such absolute bananas. Less than 10% of our winners come from sponsor companies. Like just, the facts are the facts, guys. So it's really, really important that you look at how judging happens. These competitions have gotten increasingly just harder, right? Especially, my gosh, Dallas this past year, it killed me. We had nominees with very high scores that I hated, couldn't be declared as finalists. You got to cut it off somewhere, right? The competition is just, it's stiff. But again, what matters most is that you're doing exceptional work that's being recognized. All right, good as gold gala traditions. Guys, admins and execs alike go absolutely crazy for the best good as gold outfit competition. And did I already show you this slide? I didn't show you that slide. I think I skipped around. Like, look at that one in the middle. Oh my gosh, she was on fire. Super, super fun. Some people just wear beautiful gowns. Some people go in full costume. I mean, I need to pull in the pictures from Chicago. We literally had she ended up winning one of her award categories. She also came with literally a balloon installation around for her outfit. We had Ryan Jensen in Chicago again. He makes his costume every year. It's such a fun tradition, and the execs get into it as well. The team spirit competition is for companies that display
Funny.
the most. Yes.
Go back because can't remember she's got a screen of E173692. She says she's with the fro in the picture. I'm not sure.
Ah, look at you. I mean, you were on fire. And that's it, guys. Like, when else do you get to dress up and be like the star of the show? And I know a lot of you are like, oh, I don't want anybody to look at me. It's not like that. It's just a lot of fun. Please put in the comments if you've been at the Admin Awards and you've had a fun experience. We want you guys to share that with one another. So thank you for mentioning that. Team Spirit is so much fun, guys. People come dressed up, they decorate their tables, all kinds of fun, enthusiastic displays of spirit and enthusiasm. And again, executives, guys, get probably even more into this than admins. Look at this Toyota table. They did a race car theme last year. This year, thanks to Alice Howard, they did a beautiful Japanese theme. Look at these freaking tables. Is that not just magnificent? We've had masquerade themes. I mean, just so much fun. I don't know why, but this next one is one of my freaking favorite pictures. It's from the Seattle program. That is like the essence of the Admin Awards. Okay, I got to move it on. I get super excited about this stuff. Costs and ROI. What does the Admin Awards cost? It's free to nominate. I get challenged by our board all the time. You guys need to charge nominations fees. I don't ever want to do it. As long as we have in-person galas, we want you to be able to put that budget to the gala experience. Individual gala tickets are between $325 and $375. Remember, we make no money on those. Silver, gold, platinum table sponsorships, we make a little bit of money on those. Premier sponsorships, companies buy sponsorships because they want to, number one, send the message to their executives that we're supporting this thing. So nominate. There is a big connection between what companies sponsor and how many executives participate, because there's not this confusion around what are we doing? Do we have tickets? Do we have tables? And then HR gets involved, or the office of the CEO gets involved, and they push out communications saying, please nominate your admins if they're doing great work for you. And so those premier sponsorships start at 12.5. Our mission needs your support. It really does. Like, I used to not talk about the money piece because frankly, I care the least about the money, but it's the most important thing to keeping a company alive and a mission like ours alive. We are not a nonprofit. What I will tell you is every dime we make, we put into the Admin Awards. We don't have investors. So please, if you can sponsor, if you're like, I know what our company spends sponsoring golf tournaments, tech events, guys, we get CEOs in this room. So if you've got a B2B product or service, it's a great audience. We really are a B2B media platform that has the ability to do all kinds of things for B2B brands in addition to HR, helping you meet HR objectives and retain a really, really expensive employee group to retain, which brings me to this slide. Listen, guys, if you don't remember anything else that I've said today, know your value. I'm going to skip to the third bullet. 70% of your 1-year salary is a conservative estimate, what it costs to replace you. Those of you working as strategic partners, a real extension of your executive, that number is even higher. We know that recognition is the number one thing most closely tied to retention. Am I having an impact? Do they see me? You don't want to work 8 to 10, 15 hours a day and not feel like you're making an impact. That would be a bloody horrible way to spend a life, much less a career. So it's important that, yes, even administrative professionals that we know don't do this job for recognition, because if that's what it was all about, many of you would have been out of the gig decades ago. But we know that if you don't feel valued, you're two times more likely to quit. We also know that if you feel truly cared for, you're 43% more productive. Quick case study. Guys, if the admin award saves a company 3 administrative professionals and those admins are making about 80 grand a year, I just had to find a number. I know some of you are making a bit less, some a lot more. That savings to a company is $168,000. And if we only saved one admin, that savings is 56 grand. Again, think about it. The institutional knowledge that goes away with you, the lack of productivity that happens when you freaking go on vacation for a week, when you're out sick for 2 days. One executive said, I would rather my 3 salespeople be gone for a week than my 1 admin be on vacation. All right, a little bit about the admin awards effect. Guys, we know the impact this program has on administrative professionals. You know, sometimes for the first time in your career that you are really, really making an impact, that you're changing lives, that your leaders, your coworkers couldn't do what they do without you. We know it's leading to increased compensation. We know the program is leading to decreased executive admin ratios. I know some of you, just out of curiosity, put in the chat, I'll look at it later. How many executives do you support? Over 70% of you support 2 or more executives. After the pandemic, we were the first organization to do the Trends in Executive Support Survey. It's a really powerful one. You guys all should have that. Your HR department should have it. After the pandemic, that ratio went through the roof. A lot of admins are supporting 5 or more executives. So the impact it has on administrative professionals is significant. The impact the admin awards has on the organization, how your leaders and coworkers see you, how they talk to you, how they respect you. We know this because we hear it from you. I talk to thousands of admins a year. You email us things. The admin awards completely changes the admin culture in an organization. We know it does. And then the impact that it has on the profession, I believe the admin awards has had a significant impact on the way the profession is viewed. The advocacy work we do, we know has resulted in significant changes in organizations, and we're really, really proud of that. All right, so what's next? I hope you get off this call and I hope you nominate yourself. I really, really do. I hope that you will nominate a peer. I hope that you will help us spread the word. And after this, post a link to the Admin Awards website, just a link to adminawards.com, and say, hey, the Admin Awards is happening. Please recognize outstanding administrative professionals. I hope you'll sponsor the Admin Awards. And I hope, guys, that you will just continue the important work that we're doing. And I just want to thank all of you for giving us a reason to exist. We wouldn't do this work if it wasn't for very good reason. Guys, I know that you are the people taking care of everybody at the office. I know many of you are also taking care of everybody at home. You know, I was recently in that position as the caregiver of my mom, and I know how challenging it is. I know that you're taking care of everybody, right? And then you wake up, you go into the office the next morning, and you still have this way of making people feel like they're the only person that matters. And it's our honor to be able to lift you up, right? To fill your cup, to make sure you know the impact that you're doing is just really appreciated and it's important. And this is a storied profession. There have been so many people who are household names, right? Dr. Martin Luther King, household name. His secretary, Maud Blue, nobody's ever heard of her. Her signature appears on over 85% of the documents he signed during the civil rights movement, right? There are so many leaders that have changed the world as a result of the administrative professionals that have made all that work happen, right? Magically, invisibly, quietly, and behind the scenes. And it's time to get you guys to step out from behind the curtain and into the spotlight because you deserve it. You deserve it. All right. Did I forget anything, guys?
A
I'd love to open it up. Yeah,
couple of
question.
quick things. I'm just going to bring myself in. Got a couple of questions. Somebody asked about how the judging actually works, which is a great question. So we
Yes.
have an independent board of judges of around 50 judges across the nation. Some are national judges, some judge locally, but in every awards program, we have about 50 judges that read every single nomination that they're allotted. Dallas last year had over 3,000 submissions to review. All those judges go on is the submitted nominations that you have, both your initial nomination and supporting nominations, and they review those nominations against the award criteria. On our website, you can click on the awards, you can see the criteria. That is all the judges go on. It's not a voting contest. It's not the most nominations win. They review each nomination. The judges independently review them all and score them. They can't see the scores of other judges. Then the system collates all the results. So that's the way the judges work. As Sunny mentioned, no one from the Admin Awards takes part in judging, and no one from our sponsor companies take part in judging. That's all completely independent. Hope that answers the question that was asked there. I do want to quickly talk about someone said that, they got nominated last year, were a finalist or didn't quite make it there. They want to take part again this year. They hope their bosses nominate them again. With our new system, we can clone last year's nomination for anyone that nominated, and they can then log in and update what they wrote. So it's a really easy way. We do send out emails to nominators saying, hey, did you want to clone last year's and get started again? But if you're like talking to your bosses and co-workers and they're like, yeah, let's just start with last year's, reach out to myself. We can clone last year's nomination in the system and they can use that as a starting point. So that's a super easy way to kick off getting nominated. And someone said, it feels like the Academy Awards for admins. It certainly is. And the program works similar. Like think about the Academy Awards or the Grammys, people get nominated multiple years. Some people end up being finalists, some end up winning, come back multiple times. We've had examples of admins that have been nominated 4 years in a row and they were a finalist and they won in their fourth year, or they nominated 1 year, not the next year, the year after they were again. So it's not like a one and done program. Think of it like the Academy Awards for admins. So I wanted to quickly answer those two. Are there any other questions that we haven't touched on that would hopefully, I know everyone's got to leave in a couple of minutes, but any other questions that we haven't touched on?
Guys, I have to show you something real quick. So, as I was going through my mom's things, I found some of her old books. Look at this. Can you see this?
Bring it
It's
closer to the camera in front of your face because it's blurring out because it's blurring the background. Bring it down.
it's the Greg Shorthand for Colleges Volume 1 book. Isn't that cool? My mom's shorthand book from 1958. Isn't that crazy? That was so fun. My mom also kept all of her rejection letters, which I thought was interesting. I'd never seen a lot of this stuff. I have one of her steno pads. Um, I found worksheets that she worked on. I don't know if you can see, you probably can't see. Anyway, I love the work we do, y'all. And I just thank you for, you know, you're the reason why we get to do this. You're the reason. You're the reason why we get to do this. Thank you for staying in it. I know a lot of you wanted to just throw in the towel probably a million times over during your career. I could not imagine a stronger community of professionals. Um, and I'm just thankful for you. That's it. Thank you for bearing with me in the beginning. We're recording this and we're going to be sending it out to people. So my blubbering in the beginning is now going to be out there for all the world to see forever, but it's okay. It's okay. Every tear is a result of an incredible memory and a whole lot of love. So I'll take it. All right, guys, it's 12 o'clock. We're on time. Yay. Thank you again. We're here if you need us. if you want to speak during Imagine Admin, please, please, please submit. We would love to have a big pool of speakers and have a whole bunch of fun this April. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.